Good morning. It's the last day of school before Christmas break, and I can tell you, I'm excited. We all need breaks. I'll talk about that in just a second. My dad used to talk about being in the military. He would talk about his love for serving his country and all of those things, and he did eventually retire with his 20 years in the 844th Engineer Battalion of the Army. And it was such a source of pride and patriotism on his part that, it's hard for me to envision or to even think about the level of commitment this man had over his long career. It's just fantastic. But there was something really interesting that he told me one time. He said, Tom, he goes, there were times in the bureaucracy and all the nonsense that sometimes happens that I would get really frustrated, and I just was thinking, I'm not going to re-up my time. I'm done. I'm just not going to do it. He goes, but then it would roll around and I would always go ahead and re-up for the maximum amount. I could re-up for 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years or something like that. He goes, I always just went ahead and did 4 years. And I'm like, well, why'd you do that? He says, well, because a lot of times if you have committed to something and the bad times come and it just stinks, you're like ready to quit. But if you persevere and you just hang on, then the good times come back around. And, you get to where you enjoy it again. And I always knew that was going to happen, so I just stayed. And I've thought about that a lot over the years, and I'm like, with any job, sometimes you just have to stick it out to make sure that you're going to make the best of things. Even when things stink, sometimes you just have to persevere through that and get to the other side. But you know what? We all need a break. I'm looking forward to Christmas break. I want to sleep in. I want to paint a little bit. I want to play some games with friends. I want to visit with family. I want to, just have a good time doing nothing. I think that would be great. My wife probably has a few projects planned or some cleaning or something planned, but, there'll still be downtime where there'll be time to watch a show or to do nothing. Get a break. Well, how does that translate into our spiritual life? Do we need a break from God? No, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that God created our world and everything in it and all of us and everything, it tells us, in 6 days. Some people don't believe those days are literal, but whatever you believe, the principle still applies. And on the 7th day, he rested. Did God rest because he was tired? No. God doesn't grow tired. He rested because, and I think it's like a perfect example for us. How many of you work all the time? You work when you're working. You work when you're not working. When you're not working, you're thinking about working, or you're inventing other work to do while you're working. While you're working, you think about the work you got to do when you get home. And then while you're doing the work you're at home, you're thinking about the work you got to do when you go back to work. Work, work, work. You see what I mean? We can get caught up in that rat race. Now, of course, we all have to work. We all have to work to put food on the table and pay our bills and have some self-respect, of course, if we're capable. But God made it, he said, for us to remember the Sabbath and to keep it holy. And the Sabbath is also, we are told, not made, man's not made for the Sabbath, but the Sabbath's made for man. I believe that's correct. This morning I'm a little foggy. I might be reversing things. But the point is that day was created for us because God knows we need a break. We need to rest. We need to rest our bodies. We need to rest our minds. We need to be able to have time of fellowship. And a lot of us spend our time spinning in circles, rushing about, getting here, getting there, doing this, doing that. And we take no time to just kind of rest. Do you know stress is up to the point that it's like horrible in this country? I now have kids that tell me they have anxiety. You're 12. How do you have anxiety? Now, I know there's problems in the world, but it's so rampant. It's everywhere. And sometimes I think it's because we don't take the time to rest. You know, we're intended to sleep and rest to recoup. And we're intended to rest at least one day a week to just kind of chill and relax and enjoy things. But sometimes we don't take that time. This goes right into worry. You know, he tells us the day is sufficient. The worry, the evil of the day is sufficient. If we start worrying about all the days to come, then we have overbalanced our worry supply. The grace that we have to get through today, we're extending it into days that aren't even here yet and may never come. Take time to take a break. Do some things that are important. Do good things. Serve the Lord. And also, rest. Engage in your hobbies that are positive. Be with friends and family. Enjoy things. Quit stressing. Don't just worry about preparing for the feast. Sit at the Master's feet some too. Contemplate, think, and be at peace. Peace on earth and goodwill toward men. Emmanuel has come. God is with us. Merry Christmas. I'll probably see you after the holidays. May God bless you and your family and keep you. I love you all. Find the one who gives you peace. I hope you know him. Be kind to each other. See you next time.